Warning. This program contains scenes of a graphic nature. This includes footage of a mature subject matter and is intended for an adult audience.
Welcome everybody to Villains and Creeps. We have a good one for you today. We have my cousin Andrea. If you'd like to say hi.
Hello.
And before I start, I told Gerald when we started this, it was a little under a year ago, you'd be our best guest because all the
Oh,
stories that you have. And we've
okay,
talked to
cool.
people, we've heard some good stuff, but I think you would have the best stuff. And I'd like to apologize for not keeping in touch with you because even way back then saying that we need to get a hold of my cousin, or I do, that I didn't do it. So I apologize to you that I haven't kept in touch with you.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm glad though. I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, this one should be fun. So I'd like to start off by when was the first time that you experienced, and I hate to call it like empath and all that. It just annoys me when I hear people say it. I don't
Right.
know if
And
it does for you, but
I
when
don't
did
like
you, or
paranormal. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like that either. I was trying to think of a word to express it before
spiritually
we were
aware?
on today. Huh?
Spiritually aware. How
Yeah,
about that?
okay. That's so it started before I have an actual memory of it, which sounds weird, but um as I grew up, I have this issue with mirrors at night.
Mm,
I don't like mirrors at night. I couldn't figure out why. There has to be a light on if I'm going to be in front of a mirror. There could be a mirror in the bedroom or a mirror where I am, but I will not look in it if there's not light. And as I grew up, it just got worse. And I was like, this is so weird. So I don't remember how the conversation came up, but I was talking with my mom and she said, "Oh, you still don't like mirrors?" And I said, What do you mean I still don't like mirrors?" And she said, "Yeah, when we lived in this house here in Walsenburg, a lady talked to you through the mirror,
mm,
and she used to scare the crap out of you. And you would cry, and you'd say, 'The lady's there. She's talking to me.'" And I was little enough that I didn't have complete sentences. I don't remember that, but I do know that mirrors at night are not a thing I do and I've never done. And it is kind of a background memory for me. But that's when it first started that I have any awareness of it.
Has it been mirrors in general, no matter how old they are?
Oh yeah, so yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure the older the mirror, the worse it is, but it is just mirrors in general. And it's probably just that when I was little, the lady talking to me through the mirror just scared me. It was just a lot for me.
Hmm.
Do you remember how old that mirror was in general, just out of curiosity's sake? Or was it
I
just
have no idea. Like I said, I don't know anything about it. The only information I know about it is that my mom was like, "Well, the lady in the mirror always talked to you and she scared you and you hated her." And as a matter of fact, we moved because of that
and where were you living at the time? Sorry.
in Walsenburg.
In Walsenburg?
What
Was
street
Hmm.
was
that
it on?
What was that,
what
Adam?
street?
What street
Sorry.
was it on?
I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't when it was enough for me to just be kind of like, okay, at least I know where my issue is with mirrors, and I still have that. I don't like it. I don't
Mm,
approach mirrors at night, even if I'm go to the bathroom. I'm not afraid of the dark. The dark,
yeah.
like Adam knows, I'm good with the dark. I have no issues with dark. Don't need any sort of anything. The darker the better. So it's not a darkness thing. It's specifically
It's
a
a
mirror thing.
it's a mirror thing. Yeah, it's understandable. We used to have a house, same thing. Like in the hallway, when you turn the corner, there was just mirrors all up there, and I was like, "What the heck?" And then I didn't think about it until I was older. It's like this is weird. It's like it has a weird feeling because you turn the corner of the hallway, and there's just like it looked the way they designed it was like a bar, so
Okay.
it had like a checkerboard mirror pattern on the wall,
Yeah,
and it was just
yeah. I actually
weird.
had a bedroom that had a checkerboard mirror pattern on the wall. Um, and the way I positioned my bed was so that I didn't engage with those mirrors at night.
There's always been stuff about that too, like as far as like where your positions of mirrors are according to where you walk into your home. You never want to have a mirror facing a door. Like when you walk into the door, the first thing you see is a mirror. That's kind of like bad juju. It's not good. Like if you look at like others like cultures and things like that, feng shui is a big thing about that. I don't know
Yeah.
where's feng shui from,
So
but
that doesn't bother me. I can walk into a place and have a mirror right there. I don't care about that. Doesn't bother. I actually enjoy looking in the mirror, mirror, just mirror image on top of mirror image on top of mirror image. That doesn't
just
bother me. It's
just the dark.
just the nighttime mirror. Won't do it. Don't do it. Don't bother with it.
Have you ever seen anything come out of the mirror or a mirror?
Because I avoid them, I don't.
No.
Yeah, I truly have avoided them for my whole recollection of mirrors, for my whole recollection of my life. I don't do mirrors at night. So, and because it makes me so uncomfortable, I don't mess with it. It's just not something I'm willing to adventure into because it was such just a tragic memory for me, just so scary to the core that, like I said, I don't have other memories, but that memory it just stuck with me. So I just figure, I don't need to.
Yeah, don't mess with it. Just
I have nothing to prove. Excuse me, I have nothing to prove or nothing I want to gain from it. Why mess with something that I don't enjoy?
Did your mom ever see anything
Um,
back
I don't
then?
think she did. I don't think she saw the lady in the mirror. I just told her about her. Like I could
Okay.
describe her. She had blonde hair. She was a lady. She talked to me. I could even tell her what I said. The lady would tell me to come here.
Mm-hmm.
The lady would just talk to me, and I did not like her.
Mm.
But she fully believed that I saw her.
What's the next memory that you have from something that you seen that you could
So
remember?
I was pretty little. I was at my grandparents' house here in Walsenburg on Colorado Avenue. I was actually playing outside with my brother and an aunt. Um, we were playing outside. Right across the street is a ditch. We'd always played outside at night, no big deal. Porch light was on. We were out there, and for some reason, all of us, our attention was drawn to this kind of plastic bag across the ditch that just came out of nowhere. And it was weird because there was nothing unusual.
Was
A
it at night?
plastic bag at night, late,
Okay.
dark skies, street lights, porch light on. Across the street, the ditch is dark. So we all kind of looked at it, which was different, and we all kind of walked towards the end. We were in the middle of the yard. We all walked towards the end of the yard, and as we walked, it kind of looked like maybe it was not a paper bag, maybe a paper plate. Then maybe it was a cat. Oh, wait, that's actually a dog. Nope, it's a man all dressed in white. We're out. And back then, you have to remember that stranger danger wasn't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't taught to be afraid of strangers. They were just there, whatever. So when this shapeshifter became, and everything was white. So paper plate, paper bag, cat, dog, man standing up, walking towards us, all white clothes, looked like a white male, white hair. We all just skedaddled in the house. Definitely not a friendly force.
Mm-hmm. I remember you, I think it was the same thing where you talked about something with blue eyes that you saw
Yeah.
down
Oh,
there.
he definitely had piercing blue eyes.
That's what it was. Were they
Yeah.
glowing?
Yep. I was so little that I don't know that I could tell if they were glowing. It was just enough to be like not comfortable and scary. And you
Mm-hmm.
just go in and don't really talk about it because it wasn't something you talk about with the grandparents.
And everybody was there that saw it.
It was just the three of us that were outside playing.
Okay.
Just the three of us, and we just were like, and I've never really talked about it with them, so I don't know what memory they have, but I do know that was and I know how it could also be like that couldn't be what I saw, but it sat with me and I didn't understand it at the time. I was too little to understand, like, I was just more confused. Like, why was I afraid? And why didn't I see that man? Why did I think it was other things? Why did I thought I was just kind of not understanding life at the moment. Like, why would I see a paper bag or a paper plate and then just slowly different things that didn't make sense to my little head? I
Mm-hmm.
knew what I saw. So it sat with me a long time. And I was a little bit older when I went, oh crap, I know why. And I know why those blue blue eyes scared me, and I know why he scared me. And there was no urgency in anything. There was no like quick change. There was no it was just this rolling motion of what's happening over there across the street. Like, oh, that's not what I saw. That's not what why can't I understand this? And then when he started walking over, it was just a cold, dark feeling, even though everything about him, his clothes were bright white, his eyes were piercing blue, his hair was white. But there wasn't light emanating from him. There was darkness around him.
Okay. Do you think now in perspective that it might have been a skinwalker or anything like that? Or what do you think it was?
Definitely could have been I do know, like I just said, hey, it's a shapeshifter, but definitely could have been a skinwalker. The definitions are pretty much the same. It just depends where you're coming from with it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of history back there with the natives.
Yes. Yeah. And it just didn't feel comfortable. I don't know that I wasn't just scared because I didn't know what was happening, but I know I was scared when I was young. I was 4, maybe. I mean, I was young.
Oh, it was that far back.
Yeah, not even old enough to be like, let me go check it out again. I was just young enough to go in and go, nope, that was weird.
I talked about Gerald about this is the waterways here in Pueblo is why I think what carries the spirits. Do you think that was the same thing? It was by the creek.
I don't know that it was a waterway. I've seen spirits in so many different places that I don't always associate them with waterway.
Mm-hmm.
There's spirits also, burial grounds, battlegrounds. I don't know where he came from. I don't know why he was there. I was too little to have that understanding. And by the time I was able to reflect on it, it was just so much time had passed. But that is a memory that sits always.
Yeah, that would be something that. Do you ever think that I might see it down there sometime again and just never happen?
I have. I've looked because you kind of want to see it again to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen it that down there again. No. And I have looked like, oh, is that something white?
Yeah.
Is that something bright? But there's never been that experience again there.
And
kind of sit outside at night trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Throughout middle school and high school, what else have you seen?
That was more in the homes I was in different homes.
Mm-hmm.
When I just grew up with these apparitions around me. I just grew up with, you walk down the hall and see something and it's like, go away. I don't want you here.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if you're here as I got older, I understood I could say, if you're here to support me, you can be here. If not, you need to just leave because you're not allowed here. You're not welcome here. And many times, there's been toys playing for no reason in the middle of the night. My toys, little kid toys. I do have, memories of someone just being in the room over me, dark shadows, and I'd wake up or can't wake up, held down a little bit, and fighting to get up and just saying, get out of here. I don't want you here.
Is there a feeling that you have good versus bad?
Definitely. I definitely pick up on, if it's really, really bad, I definitely can pick up on it. Like you just walk in somewhere, you feel the heaviness, kind of look into the corners and say, nope, this is not either where I want to be, or this is not where you're allowed to be. You're not going to be in here with me because we're not doing this.
Yeah. Have you ever met Abel's wife? Was her name Brenda?
Brenda? Uh-huh.
I went to go see him a few years ago, and she has such a bright spirit. I could barely even look at her. She was so white and bright.
Oh, yeah, I've met her. I didn't have that same experience, but I didn't get anything negative from her.
Mm-hmm.
I was up there. We spent some time there, actually. We stayed with them.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
It's been quite a few years,
Okay.
actually, quite a few years. But yeah, she is a very kind person. I didn't have that same experience though.
Okay. Well, I was saying that versus what I experience with other people is if they're really bad and I see them in passing or I talk to them, I see black or red in them. How
Yeah,
do
you
you
just
see
see the
those people?
darkness.
Hmm.
Yeah. And mine is, I think I'm not so much as visual as you. I'm more of I can feel it.
Hmm.
So I'll walk by someone and just feel that darkness. So you see the darkness, I feel it. I can feel the darkness in within me. And so it's just like, yeah, you're gross. You're
Yeah.
a gross person and I don't want anything to do with you. I'm just going to step away so I don't have that energy.
Or I'll feel if there's something, a spirit in the house and they're bad, I feel drunk or buzzed. That's how I feel if it's
Oh, okay.
something
And
wrong.
I don't, I just feel the dark energy
Okay.
most of the time. There have been a few experiences where I'm like, oh, oof, this does not feel good. But then I push it. I push it out. So I learned early on how to control that so that I don't absorb it.
Hmm.
I learned that without knowing what I was learning and without knowing what I was doing, probably around middle school,
Okay.
because I so much did not like that feeling of not feeling myself and feeling out of touch or just gross. I learned how to not absorb that energy and not allow it. So that's probably part of why I don't do that. I just don't do it.
When did you learn about Reiki or learn
Um,
you could heal with your hands?
so I didn't know what it was.
Mm.
No idea what it was. I did know that if I got burned, my mom would take the burn away. Um, I knew if I hurt, I can kind of put my own hand on it. But my little sister Leah, she was little. She was probably like 3 years old. We were in, I think, Manitou Springs at a restaurant, and she was running and she fell and she hit her head hard. I mean, hard. You heard it. It sounded like a watermelon hitting the ground.
Mm.
And I just went and I picked her up and she was getting this huge egg on her. I was scared. I put my hand over it. I felt the heat from it and I just held her and she stopped crying and the egg went away and she didn't hurt.
Mm.
And it was that moment that I realized, and I was in high school, I believe, I realized like, oh, I can do this for real. And so I've done it for real many, many times for other people, for myself. My kids know I can do it. I didn't learn the term Reiki until, gee, I was how old? Gosh, in my 30s, I think, when
Yeah.
I finally, isn't that when we went and did that class together?
Hmm. And that's something I could tell you is I was talking to Gerald about the Berkeley shop and he got a skull from there. Do you have that skull on hand?
Yeah, I can get it real quick.
I did not like that lady.
Yeah.
Her energy did not, it just felt so unreal and so phony to me. I didn't care for it, so I never went back. But it was like maybe a year before that that I even learned the term Reiki.
Hmm. Yeah, because
I
that's where I
didn't,
learned it from is from you.
yeah.
Yeah, her saying that she buried bones in the back of her yard. I was like, yeah,
And
that's
her
creepy.
like having everybody feel her legs to tell her where she was injured was just weird.
Yeah.
It, so I got the paper. I actually have no idea what I did with it.
Sorry, my arms are like dead and that thing's heavy.
Oh,
He got this skull from her shop. She left it there.
oh wow.
Yeah.
She, she just left it there.
So apparently, I don't know if she passed or what happened, but they were throwing all this stuff out from that shop. And one of my old coworkers, they were out dumpster diving
Oh
and they saw all this
wow.
stuff being thrown out, crystals and like spheres and everything. And he grabbed the skull and he said, "No, I'm letting this get thrown away." He went there when the cops went around to pick up a bunch of stuff. So they got a bunch of things. So I ended up getting the skull from one of my old coworkers. But they ended up dumpster diving, and that's where they found that skull. And he was telling me he was telling me about it, saying like he didn't like it. He said he had it in his bedroom, and he was having weird dreams ever since he brought it in the bedroom. So he's like,
I
I don't like that thing. It's bugging me. It's like, I was going to get rid of it. It's like, I'll get it off you for $50 if you want. And I don't care. It's like, that's
huh.
interesting. It's going to be weird dreams. I'm curious. But I
Yeah.
collect stuff like this anyway. So
Did you have to clear its energy or do anything, or you're fine with it?
no, I'm fine with it. It doesn't bug me. But then again, I don't provoke it or anything either. I just,
Wow, that's interesting that she's just gone.
yeah, yeah, he was telling me that they were like getting rid of all the stuff. They had a big old dumpster, one of the rolling dumpsters, and they were just throwing everything out of this house completely. And he thinks he remembers like she used to have crystals and just different things like stones and stuff. So he went back and got stuff because he didn't want it to just be thrown away. He was saying, "Man, it's a shame to like see all that stuff get thrown away and lost."
And it's so weird that it would just be thrown away and there wouldn't be anyone there to
It's kind
claim
of
it.
yeah, it's
Hmm.
strange, but it happens a lot with evictions. Like
Oh,
if somebody
this
gets
is true.
evicted,
If it's
they
yeah,
just they don't care. They just
yeah.
whatever it is, they just throw away. And what's kind of weird is how like I don't know, I think it's kind of weird, but like how they get mad at you if you try to grab it. It's like, hey, you're evicting this person. They don't want it, obviously, because if they did, they'd be there grabbing it too. Why the hell are you gonna get on us for grabbing it when you're just gonna throw this in a landfill anyway? Just let people have the stuff, out with it. Or
I
auction
mean,
it off.
yeah, it's going in the trash.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's weird. Adam, didn't you go back there for the master class to finish it out?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you
That
didn't?
thing, because we were going, and the next week, the class after we went, we had that whole ghost thing where that guy was yelling, telling the ghost to attack him. Do you remember that? I went through that night, and that's where I
Yes.
learned she was digging the bones or putting bones in her yard, and I
In
was like, we can't
yeah.
go back.
Okay. I thought that happened after that. I thought I just didn't go back after our first class. I didn't like it. It was just so
What
uh
Yeah,
what
she
bones was
was
she like putting in the ground and stuff?
she didn't say in particular, but she was saying that she'd put him back there for people that she didn't like.
Oh man, that's kind of weird.
Hmm.
Because that's almost, well, I don't know what she was believing in and all that, but that's really akin to like even like voodoo and hoodoo
Hmm.
as far as like doing the bones, making like hex bags almost.
Yeah, I've
I always have the belief that if someone really hates me that bad, they really gotta hate me because that stuff comes back on them. So if they're gonna try to hex me, it's gonna come back 3 to 10 times fold on them. So
yeah.
to like
Just thought
do
that she
something like
was a
this, somebody is
witch or
crazy.
something like that after I heard that.
Yeah, so
yeah, I just
that
didn't
makes it
trust
kind of
her.
interesting.
Hmm. But beyond that, I think it was pretty strange she left all that stuff there, being that it was so important to her.
Yeah.
Even if you get evicted, you have a chance to get your stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, you have plenty of time to, like,
You
I think
do.
you have like 24 to 48 hours to get all your stuff like
So I still
figured
think
out.
it's odd that she was just gone with all of her because she was like, these are so important. It's so important for me to have it. I still think it's odd.
It's either
Hmm.
that or she passed. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think that's what the old coworker I used to work with, I think Jason was his name, was saying is like she died or something and then all this stuff was just being thrown away.
Because if she died, that makes sense. But I thought it was rather ironic that Gerald, someone I knew, ended up with some of her stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
How
from there,
strange.
from a place,
Did you
you've been.
I don't know, did you guys recognize that skull at all or no?
She had so much stuff.
It,
Who knew?
yeah, it was so just cluttered in there. And she was just so amazed with her own self.
Hmm.
Oh, jeez. She was
Hmm.
something with Reiki here in Pueblo.
Yeah, she claimed to be able to teach people Reiki, which I do not believe at all.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I have a hard time with people being, what were the words that we're saying, Gerald?
Empaths.
Impasse and all that, and people just say those words. I don't think they really are. And when I
Right.
meet
And
people, I could tell, like for I don't know if you are the same way, Andrea, or not, but the people that I meet or the people that are close to me, they also are like me too. It's weird that I'm drawn to people that are spiritually aware.
right, the people that I am close friends with, yeah, we all have this kind of same common ability to know and to feel and to understand. I have a friend, close friend, Heather, and her and I have gone places to clear houses and clear spirits. And well, you remember that night we went up Bear Creek, Adam.
Yeah, I was going to
And
get to that. I wanted you to tell that story about the creature that you saw up there.
so yeah, that was high school. You're right. That was high school. When you're asking about high school, we had family that had land up there, and I'd go up there during the day a lot and just, barbecue, hang out, whatever, go for walks. It was pretty nice. And I was out with a group of friends in a truck, and I was like, oh, hey, let's go hang out up here. Let's go here. And we went up Bear Creek and we went off the road and we went over to the side, and there was probably four of us in the front of that truck. And it was just I believe it was a Ford, just a normal pickup, full size pickup. And we were going to stop, and something seemed heavy out there. And we all kind of stopped and looked around, and this just black figure. I can't say that it really had a body shape or anything, but it came and it just slammed the truck hard enough to rock it from one side. And then it was gone like that, and we were kind of all like, whoa, what was that? Trying to figure out if it was animal. They were really scared. I was more like, oh, what are we in here? And then it came and it smacked the other side enough to rock it. At this point, we're like, hey, we're out, let's go. It did jump into the back of the truck. It was hitting the back window, not like a force hitting it, not like pounding or anything. We got out of there. It did hit the front of the truck as we were backing up to leave. But when we got into town and checked the truck for damage, it was covered in mud, thick mud. And we were not in mud because we would have been stuck. So the back window had mud, the sides had mud, and it was just like a drawn, you could tell something was like that on it. Not handprints though, just the streaks of mud. And
Just
there were also
scraping.
big clumps of mud in the bed of the truck.
Hmm.
Unexplicable, don't know what it was, but it was a pretty dark. At times it looked like a huge blackness, and at other times it looked smaller. But
Did
it
it leave
was
anything
hard enough
behind?
and heavy enough to shake a pickup truck with four people in it. And I'm not saying we like went up on wheels or anything, but we were jostled.
Hmm. Did it leave anything behind, or did you go back to see the next day?
So we went back. There was no prints. I went back. There were no prints. There weren't truck tracks. Like I said, it wasn't even muddy. Another occasion I went back at night, and there were some black and red feathers,
Mm.
and there were some sticks around that looked like they had been placed in the shapes of crosses. And the black and red feathers just aren't common.
Hmm.
Not something I'd seen up there. And like I said, I'd spent a lot of time up there from the time I was little growing up. And they seemed strategically placed. So it wasn't in the same spot where we were, because that was the side of the hill, but up on the hill as you were walking up through the front of the hill from the main road. That's where the sticks and feathers were. And that wasn't right. And I saw that a few times. And there was definitely not a place I hung out at night after that.
It still feels pretty bad there at night.
Yeah, yeah. And Adam and I had went up there together to go check it out. And it's one of the very few times that I wasn't able to keep an attachment from coming with me.
So we went out there and we're climbing up the hill. There's a hill before you get to a driveway. I don't think a driveway was there at the time, but we're walking up the hill and you could feel the darkness around you. And we went back to the car after us walking around. We were like, that's enough. When we're by the car, there's the main road, and to the east of us, there's a field, and then there's the creek. They call it Bear Creek out there.
Yeah.
Did we hear whistling? Is that what we heard?
Something either whistling or like a screeching, something close to it. And that is a sound I had heard up there at night with those feathers that
Mm.
wasn't a common animal sound.
Now, that's what I remember. I remember that it seemed like it was up the hill, but it seemed like also that there was something sneaking behind us.
Yeah, so it was coming up across, but we
Hmm.
knew it was up the hill too. And it didn't feel like two separate things.
Hmm.
It felt like the
The
same
same
thing.
thing. So after we heard that, we went to the car. I turned around and I looked at her, and I seen her eyes were black, completely black, and it wasn't blood, but it was black coming out of her eyes. And I was like, "Ooh, we need to get you to home
And
and see if you could smudge you." Do you remember that?
I do, and I remember I have an awareness of everything, but I remember feeling not right. And the
Hmm.
only way I can explain it is I felt like my head was upside down.
Okay.
Now I know it wasn't because I could see, but I felt like I was like
Turned
that.
upside down. Yeah, I know what
hung,
you're saying.
hung low and upside down. So not just, and I said, we got to get home. We got to get home. And then we came home and I said, we can't do this. And that's when we went to, I called my Amy, I think called Heather.
Hmm.
My daughter Amy called and said, hey, mom's not right.
Yeah.
We need you to come out and smudge her and help her clear.
Hmm.
So we went over to Heather's house.
No, she did it right in the front.
Oh, did she come to
Yeah, I
us?
yeah, I told you
Okay.
you shouldn't step in the house
Oh
for the
no, I
kids.
didn't go in.
Yeah.
I know I didn't go in, but I wasn't sure. I thought maybe, see, I'm not real clear on that part.
Hmm.
She came to us.
Yeah, she came. We're
Okay.
outside in the front, like the
I
front
know
where
we
the
were
car was parked.
outside. I know I
Hmm.
wouldn't pass the threshold of the house because I didn't want whatever it was to stay with me. Um,
Hmm.
as a matter of fact, if we had had Smudge with us, which we should have always had
Yes.
in hindsight,
Hmm.
um, we could have taken care of it there. But because it was so heavy by the time we got home, yeah, we needed that support. We need
Yeah.
the extra.
But she's really good at it. To her
And like,
credit.
yeah, like I said, Heather and I have went to some pretty bad places
Hmm.
and smudged together to get.
Like from people
And
that you knew. Do you want to talk
yeah,
about some of those?
so well, I've done some on my own, where you walk in and you could just feel it. I have friends that have called and said, "Hey, there's a friend in Levita I have," and she said her house was just really not right. She knew I've done Reiki on her. Although I say Reiki just to have a name for it, but I usually say energy work.
Yeah.
I've done energy work. I don't like that Reiki kind of just because so many people can learn Reiki,
Yeah.
and I don't, it's not something you can just learn, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think so either.
so I've done energy work on her, and she said, there's just a really, something's not right. And I went into her home and I could just feel the heaviness, and I can actually see a black entity like up in the corner. And so I, some people I've heard smudge, and if their smudge goes out, it means their smudge stick goes out, it means that everything's clear, but that's not true for me.
Hmm.
If my smudge stick goes out, then I know that it's fighting back, and then
Yeah.
I relight it and relight it. And so I battled with this entity for a good while before I got it out of that house. It was negative, it was dark, it was like by the washer and dryer, so maybe that the water thing, which was also by the bathroom.
Hmm.
And I know that it was hanging out in the bathroom for her. And so there was a verbal battle, there was an energy battle. I had asked everyone to leave the house because it had gotten so intense. And I'm smudging, talking, saying you have to go, you have to go. There was some shuddering, and finally it left, and it's never been back. So that was one case on my own, and that was in Levita.
Hmm.
Um, I don't remember the street, but it was an older house,
Okay.
which most houses there are. But with Heather and I, one of the times that sticks out is this was here in Walsenburg, she had a family member who was passing away and they couldn't pass over. So she called me up and she said, I need you to help me so they can pass over. And I said, oh, okay. So I went, and this was a close family member of hers, and some of her family is accepting of what happens, and some of them weren't, and they were eyeballing us, and she just said, this is what we're going to do. So I went in, we helped her family member pass over, which was it was a really cool experience, and I was honored to be there. But
Hmm.
there was something else involving another deceased family member of hers. And she said, can you feel it? And I told her, yes. I can feel it. And she said, this has been here for a long time. He's still here. And I said, yes. So we went down into the basement together or down into the downstairs together, because she had never been able to fully clear it herself. And we both went down with smudge sticks. We went down, and I used verbal and the smudge stick, and she used the smudge stick, and you can feel the dark energy. You could see it. You can feel it pressing back against us. Both of us could feel the dark energy pressing on us hard. And we just pressed back and insisted it's gone, told him he has to leave, because it was attached to someone in her family that had passed. So he was there causing chaos still, and just fought with him until we were both able to clear him. But I don't think alone either one of us would have been able to clear that one.
Okay.
And you can feel the darkness. You can see it. We both saw it. We were looking at it, but it's not like a figure you can say, hey, there's something black up there, and you could see the shape like you would in movies.
Mm-hmm.
There's not that, but it is, you see the darkness more like not a cloud, but more like a dark space in a bright room.
Mm-hmm. And to
So
go back,
and it actually moved around, and we would follow it and push it back.
Now, is this just a negative entity that just attached to somebody in the past, or is that what it is? Or
So this was a negative entity that was somebody from her past.
okay, so it was somebody who basically
From the
passed and
family.
was sticking around.
Yep. And who was not a good person and continued not to be a good energy in the home.
They just stuck around then. And it's just
Yep. And they were just causing chaos.
now when somebody passes and that negative energy, does it just transfer to somebody else then in the family, or does it just stick around?
No. So so that negative energy was there because he passed and he didn't leave.
Okay.
And he was still there. So we were able to push him out.
But it was
And
still from the family, essentially.
So that family member is gone. We got the negative energy. We pushed it away, which he held. It was his negative energy, but we were
Okay.
able to dissipate that and then push him on to pass to where he needed to be
Okay.
to deal with his afterlife.
one thing I was going to tell you is, have you ever talked to Eddie, her cousin?
No, I haven't been in contact with him since I was small, when the family would.
I've talked to him on frequent occasions, and he did history on the land. And our great great grandfather came from Spain. He bought all that land. We had land the size of Hong Kong in that area. And he fought on the Mexican American War. Well, he bought originally, I'll go before that. He bought the land from Mexico before it was the United States. So he had all that land back there. He
Oh
fought the
yeah.
Mexican American War, and he got a lot of his land stripped, but he still had a huge chunk. But when he originally bought the land, Mexico told him, the Mexican government said that there's neighbors back there. If they infringe on your land, to kill them. And he killed natives and buried them on the land.
There you go.
So that's where I was going to say,
So
that's
have
where all
you
the
been up?
energy comes from, I think.
Have you been up? Well, yeah, and I knew it was, yeah. Have you been up further, like up Bear Creek, and you just go, and you know how you turn to go to like the loop to go to Ideal?
Yeah,
Have you went up further straight past that?
yeah, mm,
That's nothing nice up there.
yeah, it's not.
That's not Amy and I, my daughter Amy drove up there because, curiosity always kills the cat. And I've been told by our grandfather not to go up there. It's not anywhere we should be, but
Mhm.
never why. And so a few years back, Amy and I headed up there, and we did end up turning around because I wasn't prepared enough for how negative it was,
Yeah,
for the energy that was up there. We were both like, oh, so yeah, that's an interesting place to be up there. And I'm planning on going back, but in a more prepared way. But yeah, Bear Creek has a lot of history of just the Spaniards taking over the land.
Mhm.
Mexicans taking over the land and not caring of what the Native Americans are. And, our bloodline is both.
Were you going to school when that guy murdered the mayor or murdered the former mayor? Do you ever remember that case? So let me look at his name. I just
Yeah,
had it
give me.
too.
What year was that?
Oh, I'm finding it now. I just
Okay.
had it up,
And
but
Gerald, if you would talk to her about your dad,
oh
it's
yeah,
pretty,
hold on a
it's
minute.
very interesting.
What exactly do you want me to talk about for him?
Just what he did,
Oh yeah,
police
so
department.
my father. I'm still talking. I'm still paying attention. I'm just typing on an iPad too, looking at other stuff. But my father was the occult detective here in Pueblo, Colorado. That was his specialty. When he was in the police department, he became a juvenile detective, and with that, you had to have a second set of skills or something that you needed to do. So some people did like forensic pathology or something. I don't know. This is an example. I don't know if they actually did this in PD, but they had to have a subset of skills on top of being a juvenile detective because they didn't consider him a full detective, which is BS because their caseloads were worse than like normal murder cases because they had to deal with kids and
Right.
their stuff never. It wasn't like so as a juvenile detective, it wasn't like your caseload went to somebody else or somebody helped you. No, you had a case and it just kept going and going and it just kept it's a mess. But on top of that, he had to have a secondary skill and he picked occult. So back then there was a lot of occult stuff going on back in like 80s, 90s.
Mhm.
It was a big fad back then, so everybody was doing the whole devil worship thing and he
Oh,
actually
yeah, I
went
remember.
yeah, he went to an actual college course on it taught by a demonologist. I think it was like Edward Lee Dubois was the dude's name who taught it. And he got a couple books. I have them put away. I'm not going to bring them out at the moment. They're way the hell back there. But it talks about occult crime and just things to look for actual occult stuff. So
Because there were a lot of occult crimes and there were a lot of um, mimicry with it. So there was
yeah,
a lot of trying to figure out, and that's really cool. I didn't even know that there was an actual department for that. So that's really cool.
yeah, it's kind of wild. Like it was taught by a demonologist, and he was saying like if always had rules, and I'm assuming it's the same rules as like you folks have for Reiki and things like that, or well, what you would consider not necessarily Reiki, but the spiritual work you do. It's kind of the same concepts of never go alone, always have somebody with you, always have signs of your faith with you, always believe in something, obviously. And it was always interesting and saying like if you find certain things out there in the wild, like if you find because he has this book, I have the book now, but it was a book called Hell's Yellow Pages, and it shows every demonic sigil, what the demon is, what's associated with it. And these were the sigils made by apparently Aleister Crowley when he was possessed. He drew out all these sigils. So it was the Crowley sigils, and there's another person who drew out all these demonic sigils, and that's how you summon them. So like it would tell you certain things, like you need to have a silver ring on this finger. It needs to be at this time of the year, under this moon. It needs to be done this certain way at this hour. And it just explained all of that, like how to do it. But if you ever found like certain things like that, you're dealing with real Satanists, not just wannabes, not just
Right.
kids who are pretending to be Satanists. And they found some weird stuff here in Pueblo.
Yep.
They found it was oh, what do they call it with the Indians? They have like the underground chambers where they did their prayers. Do you remember? Do you know what those are called? Is it covens or what is it called? Anyway, it wasn't. They found an underground chamber. It resembled one of those old chambers you see, like at the Anasazi ruins in the Four Corners,
Hmm.
almost like a sweat lodge in a way. But it was one of those. And they found a round one. It was in City Park here in Pueblo, kind of around that area. They found it underground and they had candles and everything in there, and it was kind of wild. They explored it. Him and my uncle explored that and looked through it and found stuff, and the city just demolished it without anybody knowing. And that was kind of an interesting thing. The Honor Farm was another one that
Oh, the
a
honor
lot of
farm
stuff was
was
going on,
very much, yeah.
but a lot of that stuff was it was all wannabe Satanists and everything. They found a killer out there, and they claimed that the guy who killed us, he ended up killing his nephew at a crossroads is what it was. But they said he killed him there, and he never did. He killed it somewhere else. And that whole entire deal, the whole reason that honor farm got burned down, it was a candlelight vigil, and the people just burned it down, and then the city got rid of it.
Yeah.
But all
Yeah,
that
the
stuff
honor farm
was
was quite
interesting.
the issue.
Yeah, but a lot of that stuff just turned out to be a lot of the honor farm stuff, and even like the coroner house down here in Pueblo. It was all just wannabe Satanists doing stupid shit,
Yeah.
sacrificing animals, pretending, going out to party.
But it was
It's
an
just,
issue because it drew so much attention and so much
oh yeah,
notoriety to things that were going on that were really significant other
yeah.
places.
There were other things too here in Pueblo that happened, that just kind of got brushed under the rug, and it's it's commonplace too because even the FBI at the time was trying to claim that there's no such thing as Satanism in the occult, and then as soon as they said that, like a week later, they found a big old freaking church in Mexico that was sacrificing people to the devil.
Yeah.
It
They
was a
were
big old
probably doing it.
fiasco.
That's why.
So it's like, oh shit. But yeah, but that's what Dubois said. The demonologist was saying to my dad and stuff, like the true Satanists and stuff that you have to worry about. They're not these kids who are just pretending. It's like high end people. They're politicians, lawyers, judges, people in high power are mainly the main ones, and they're the ones that are kind of scary. Doctors, lawyers. So that's where you find the real stuff, and it's really like creepy. And that dude was talking about how like that demonologist was talking about how Pueblo is almost like an epicenter for weird stuff like that. It draws in, I guess, evil, as you'd say it. And you kind of look at the history of Pueblo and stuff, you see the things that have been going on here in this town, and it's like even dated back to like the old Fort Pueblo when you had the massacre down there. The Indian massacre happened, you had the floods, you had the mafia really heavily influenced here, and they came down here. Almost every serial killer, or not almost every serial killer, but there's a good portion of serial killers that have came through Pueblo, or some of them have even been caught in Pueblo, which is weird. Like, I don't know why. I have no idea why Ed Kemper would drive from California all the way to Pueblo to turn himself in. That was a weird one. He
Really? I
turned
didn't know
himself
about
in.
that.
Yeah. Ed Kemper came down. He's still alive to this day, actually. He's in
Yeah, he
prison.
is.
But Ed Kemper came down to Pueblo and called from a payphone and turned himself in 73. There's a good chance that Ted Bundy might have killed somebody in here. Like there's a few unsolved murders that kind of fit his motive or his modus operandi.
Well,
That's
have
kind
you
of
heard
interesting.
about that story about Kurt Russell meeting him in Colorado?
No.
Yeah, it was apparently he was, or supposedly I should say, he was hunting out in somewhere western Colorado and he encountered him out in the woods.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's
So
like there's been a lot of interesting things that have happened here. And like I said, the mafia has always had heavy influence in Pueblo. A lot of things. That was the reason why it was called Little Chicago for a long time. And it's not just because it's windy here. It's just because of the influence that they had. It's like some of the old family. Like that's the whole entire way they would work. Is you'd retire from the mob, retire, and then they'd give you a bar or a restaurant to run, and you still kick back money to the family. Coletti's is a big name here, and that was one of the families that moved over from back east. Things like that. You just see it all the time. It's kind of wild. It's just interesting history, and Walsenburg, has some of the same interesting history too. You start looking at some of the stuff there. I have some interesting stories about that from my grandpa. They used to live out there, and actually, there's a story from my dad. My dad used to tell us the stories. My grandpa was a pretty bad alcoholic. He'd always just go crazy with drinking and leave. And he said one night he got in an argument with my grandma, drank, he's all wasted, left, and he came back like a couple hours later, pale white and sober. And he was claiming that he saw something down by the river. He claims to this day it was the Llorona, the whole tale of the weeping woman. He thinks it was that, and it scared him sober, whatever he saw, and it just scared the shit out of him. And that was one of the big tales I've always heard about my grandpa. And then I can't remember what house my Nino used to live in, but his house was haunted. There was a little girl that used to hang out in that house. You'd always hear banging on the walls, and then you look upstairs, and there was one day it was all of us there for Christmas. And I remember this because we all went to Christmas mass, and then we got to come it was always midnight mass. We always got to come back and open one present before Christmas
Right.
Day. It was always like a tradition. So all of us were there, all of us cousins and everything. We're all staying at my Nino's house. And I remember looking up the stairs, and up the stairs I saw this little girl in white. And I was like, that's not one of our cousins. What the hell? Who's that? Who's the little girl? And then my young cousin, my god brother, was saying, "Oh yeah, our house is haunted. That's so and so. She just hangs out up the stairs." Like, Jesus. It's like, no,
Yeah.
that's not cool, man.
Yeah, a lot of houses here just have spirits that live in them, and I guess it's so common that we don't think of it as not common. We're like, oh yeah, don't worry about that. That's just he just hangs out in the hallway, or
Yeah.
the house we had on 9th Street, people didn't like to stay with us there. And for us, it was normal, but toys would play. You'd hear footsteps at night. You'd like, oh, that's just the grandpa that used to live here, or that's just the kids that live here. Adam, you remember the house.
Yeah.
It,
It felt dark towards your bedroom and
yeah.
a little bit upstairs too. Would you please tell Gerald about your clown?
Aw, I can't find him.
You can't find him.
I cannot find him.
He's
I don't
somewhere
know where
burning some houses down or something.
the one that used to laugh.
Yeah, and move.
Uh-huh. So it actually looked somewhat like the clown from the original Poltergeist.
Oh, geez, Clowny.
And I don't remember where I got this clown, but I loved this clown. He was just nobody else liked him because he would just be somewhere and then he'd be somewhere different. Or you could be watching him and he just kind of like, there you are. Hello. And move around. He could turn his head.
Hmm.
He would turn his head. He would laugh. Just hear him laughing
Yeah.
for
No
for no
batteries.
huh?
No batteries.
No batteries. He didn't have batteries for a long time. He did not have batteries. He wasn't a clown that was supposed to move. You were just supposed to push his little the button and he would laugh. And he had a very unique laugh though. I've never seen another one like him, and I've never heard a clown laugh like him.
Hmm.
I don't know where he went. I don't know what
And you
happened to him.
move, so I mean, you've root through everything to see if he's there or not.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
I
spooky.
don't know what happened to him. I don't know if somebody was so afraid of him that they got rid of him. But I will tell you that I never tried to get rid of him because I didn't think he'd go anywhere. And he
Yeah.
didn't bother me.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with him.
Uh-uh.
He just moved.
Yeah.
That's creepy. Just another
I
reason to
do
fear
have
clowns.
another clown that nobody likes that's up in my closet. Nobody likes it.
Oh, really?
I
I'll
got
have
it from
to.
your mom.
Really? I'll have to look at him. My mom got it for him.
Let me he's porcelain. I'll be right back.
That's that's spooky that he left. He's gone.
That is creepy.
Yeah. But
Missing
he didn't
out.
feel bad or anything, but people were freaked out about him. But he
It's
was,
just, I don't know. It's one of those deals. I don't know if it's Uncanny Valley, but that's like the reason why people hate clowns.
hmm Yeah,
And it's just,
doesn't matter what clown I've seen, I've never been afraid of clowns, even that one.
no.
So,
My aunt used to collect them, man. She had so many of them. It's funny.
oh,
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Uncanny Valley. It's the eyes, man.
He is not liked by anybody but me,
hmm.
and so I don't leave him out. And
Yeah.
I have other clowns that don't bother people, but this one, um,
Hmm. I
Nice.
find it weird that Iris would have found him somewhere and been like, "Whoa, this is an awesome clown for Andrea."
yeah, right, because she's not. Yeah, he had a hat. And actually, this clown goes from he to she quite often, and she to he.
Hmm. Explain.
Well, you kind of look at something and the object, you kind of just give it that's an he or a she or like the other clown was a he, the one that was laughing. You knew, to me, it was a he all the time.
Hmm.
Like, where did he go? Have you seen him? The clown. But this one, depending on, I don't know what's going on. This one, I really like this clown, but I don't keep things out that bother people that much. Though sometimes I'll put it on the bed and just let people come in and be upset by it.
What about the unicorn that you've seen?
I swear I saw a unicorn. I don't care who. Traveling I-25. Kind of near Colorado City, but not Colorado City. I have seen a few different things, but I know I sound crazy, but I know I saw a unicorn up on top of a hill on a rock, just standing there. And I looked away and looked back several times. It wasn't a horse. It was not a horse. And the horn was there clearly. And I slowed down. I did everything short of stop on the highway and get out. But it was also like, what, you see something like that and your first thought is, wow, that was crazy. What is wrong with you? And then you look back and it's still there and you can still track it and you can still see it and it's still there. And I watched it for quite a while, and how I had that visual ability to see it while I was driving, I'm not sure. But it was there. It was white. It was iridescent. It was the light coming off of it was bright. It wasn't. So when you see unicorns in movies, you know it's a horse with a horn. When you see cartoons of unicorns, it's basically a horse. So this was a horse, but it wasn't the muscular horse that you see, but it had a strong presence.
Well, to also add, I don't know so much credence, but we saw a colored deer. Do you remember it was up the hill and we're leaving Levita and it was either orange or pink?
Yeah.
The entire
You saw a
deer
radioactive deer?
Yeah, something.
Sorry.
We tried to see it on the other side and we couldn't see anything.
Oh, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And the orange or pink, I can't always tell the difference between orange and pink.
Okay.
When I'm looking at colors, so I call things pink that are orange and orange that are pink. So don't know what color it was really, truly. But it wasn't a shade. It wasn't like the fur rubbed on a pink flower.
Mm-hmm. It's like naturally what it was. That's what it looked like. So.
Right. It didn't look like it was like manually created. Like, let me hold this deer down and spray paint it, or it went through some odd thick field where its fur like
rubbed
was
up against
coated.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't look coated. It didn't look painted. It looked like it came out that way.
I never asked you this before. Have you ever seen aliens or UFOs?
Definitely have seen UFO type things. Yes.
It's one of the things it says out here. I was looking at some things for Walsenburg. It says people in Walsenburg look up. There's a good chance a lot of people see UFOs, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So in Bear Creek, and I was with our grandmother, I was with Nani, and that was the weirdest thing about it, because you know how she's not very prone to accepting different things.
Mm-hmm.
And we were driving up Bear Creek and something just came and it was like watching us. We can tell it was watching us. And I'd stop and I was driving, I think I was in high school, and it would stop and I would back up and it would back up. And it wasn't close, it was far up there. And then we even got out to look at it, and it was just kind of a silver color. Kind of, it looked like it should be off in the distance. Like if you were to look at it, it looked off in the distance, but we knew it wasn't really that far off in the distance because of the way it was tracking us. And it was like an oval color, and it was interesting enough that we both were like, what is that? And I kept messing while I was driving to see. And we watched it, we got out, it started coming closer, and we both said, no. got back in and just kind of drove back and forth again. And I just drove up this little area and then we kept driving. And I don't know if finally it got bored, but finally it just turned and disappeared. It didn't go away, it disappeared.
Hmm.
It didn't disappear into the darkness. It didn't, I mean, into the background. It didn't fly away. It didn't hover. So it was more hovering. It wasn't flying.
It's
Okay.
always
It was
kind of nice
hovering.
it's nice to have somebody who is like skeptical of the paranormal or skeptical of things like that actually see it too, because then it's like, hey, there's proof, you know.
Right.
Somebody who
Right.
doesn't
And
believe in this stuff saw it.
we both saw it and don't know what it was.
Now, when you guys talk about Bear Creek, is it just the Bear Creek Road, or is there a place called Bear Creek that you guys
That's
go
what the
to?
area is really called.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've been trying to find it. All I found was Bear Creek Road and
The
Bear
creek
Creek Ranch.
itself is called Bear Creek, but the area is called Bear Creek.
Yeah. You
Okay.
go up Bear Creek. It's what it's locally known as.
Yeah, I
I
found
don't
a
even know
road.
what county
I
road it
was
is.
I was looking on a map and I found a road that says Bear Creek Road, and it's in Walsenburg. It's going south, kind of towards the Spanish
Yeah.
Peaks.
Yeah,
There's
that's it.
what looks like an old reservoir up there, but it's not there anymore. I think it's all dried up. It
I
started
don't
in
think there
and
was a reservoir, was there?
I don't know of one, but
Yeah. I've never heard of
there's
one.
mining. There's mining areas where they were mined up there. Yeah, I don't know of a reservoir at all up there.
I
Yeah,
have
so
another sad statement to tell you. When's the last time you ever went to the waterfall?
It's been a long time because the last time I went, there were so many people up there, I didn't stop. Like so many
Okay.
houses now.
I went there maybe about 5 years ago. Or it was around the time when our grandpa died.
Okay.
And there's no more waterfall. It's completely gone. It's flat. So you remember we
Someone,
used to stand under it and it used to be
yeah.
really tall? Gone. It's
Did
gone.
someone, you sure you were in the right
Oh,
place?
yeah, you climb down that steep slope?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
Is the
yeah,
river
there's
still there? Like the river still has to flow through
It's
there.
it's barely going, but there's nothing. There's no waterfall.
Is it just like an incline now?
Nothing. It's flat, completely flat.
Where the hell did the water go?
I have no idea.
Hmm.
I was shocked to that. Like you would think it would be off the cliff because the waterfall was so high that you would have some type of distance, but it's completely flat. So what do you think about that? Was there actually ever a waterfall back there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
I
not,
don't understand. I
just
guess
as to say that, like, we weren't just
I can't
imagining thing
comprehend
as
that
a,
it would
a
be
family,
flat.
were we? Yeah. Yeah, it's flat. I mean, I was shocked just to see it. Like, you think it would, like I said, have some type of cliff but it's even land. No evidence that anything used to be.
Well,
Because
how does it go from like this to not even a slope, not even a.
I have no idea.
So I will say when I did go look for the waterfall, I thought I was just looking in the wrong place because I couldn't find it.
Okay, so maybe you
And this
stopped
was
seeing it
years
too, and
ago.
okay,
So I just assumed I was in the wrong, I couldn't find it. I thought, well, I don't know where I am. Um, and I don't dare walk up the creek anymore because there's just too many people that live out there now and they're too hostile.
yeah,
Before you could just go and cruise and not
mhm,
worry about it.
yeah,
Yeah, I really thought I was just in the wrong place.
but
I'm confused.
yeah,
It's confusing.
it's very
I
odd
don't
because
understand.
even if you remember back there, there was giant rock slabs, those big
Yeah.
rocks everywhere. There's nothing. But how long has it been since you've been back there and actually seen the waterfall? Because I was trying to remember, and I remember going back there with you and your kids when they were little, if I'm not mistaken.
I was gonna say the last time we went, it's been because Amy and Doug, I don't know if Amy even remembers it, but
Okay.
they would have been little.
They had to have been real little, but that was the last time I could remember going back there.
So that's been over 20 years. But I
Okay.
tried to go back maybe like 10 years ago
Hmm.
because I just wanted to find it and go and see if there's people that had land there or if we could get to it. But I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
I could not find it. I didn't know where it was. And maybe that is strange. Maybe I was so confused about it. And I'm I couldn't think of someone to ask to go with me to find it again,
Hmm.
you know? So I haven't been back, but I was very confused about why I couldn't find it. Like I didn't know where it was.
Yeah, I definitely was in the right place. I remember going, even with Nani going back there, we would used to go back there all the time, and yeah, it would definitely be where it was. So it's very
Well,
mysterious. It's very
maybe
mysterious.
that's why I just don't understand. And maybe that's why I couldn't find it too. But I can't understand how it would be there and then not be there.
Hmm. Like I
Like,
said, you would have some type of evidence because it was a huge cliff. How
yeah,
would that just disappear?
yeah, and maybe that's why I thought I didn't know what I was thinking, or I thought I was in the wrong place.
Hmm.
That's why I asked, are you sure you were in the right
Yeah,
place?
definitely. Because I even
And
walked, because I was like, it's weird. You think you would find something downstream or even upstream. I remember even walking way upstream and there was rocks up there and all that, and there's nothing like I remember.
I don't understand. I'll
Hmm.
have to ask Amy if she remembers it all.
Okay. You're the first one I've asked because I know that you went to it, and who else would I ask about it? Uh,
I, maybe that's why I can't find it. I thought I thought I was just in the wrong spot, even though I was sure I knew where I was going
yeah.
because I didn't know where it was.
Or we should go back there and maybe have someone drop us off so they won't know that we're back there and
That brings
check
just
it
a
out.
whole different puzzle to it that you say it's just not there anymore.
Hmm.
That is weird. Okay. Because I just couldn't find it.
Hmm.
And the thought that it would just be gone never occurred to me.
That's weird.
You'd think it would always be there. Like, how could something like that move? Or I don't know, it'd be almost impossible. There would be a huge mudslide and it would be
But there would
reported
still be a
out
slope.
everywhere in the area.
There'd still be a slope, though. That's what I don't understand.
Hmm. Well, even above creek or before you would get there, like I said, there was rocks everywhere, flat rocks, nothing. And even the area, it feels different. I don't
Maybe we had access to something that wasn't there.
know. Maybe.
Say, how long was it ago when you saw it?
It's been
Well,
a long, like I said, over 20 years.
So
I bet you went the same time I did the last time, and
before
it was with your
2012?
kids, so 20 years ago.
Yeah, over 20 years. If Amy and Doug were little, because Amy's um 29,
Hmm.
so it's way over 20.
So it was really specific. There was a cliff and there was flat rocks when the water was falling over, and then you'd go down to the bottom and there was flat rocks too, and like kind of bouldery rocks.
They were
But
big. They were huge.
it's very pronounced. It's very pronounced. It was high. It was over your head. So I don't
That is
I don't know.
strange.
know.
Oh, I found that the killer I was asking about, if you happen to know about it or not, but it was Joe Valentine Romero, and he killed, I think, David Turner.
No,
Was
I
that
don't
in
recall that
Waltenburg?
at all.
Yeah, I was in Walsenburg. Turner used to be like the mayor.
Hmm.
What year was
This
that?
2023 apparently, or 2003, sorry, 20 years ago,
I was like,
Hmm.
or a little less, a little more than 20 years ago. So it was 32223. Colorado 17-year-old stabs 91-year-old former mayor.
Oh, didn't that happen? And he was by the post office. Didn't that happen by the post office?
Oh, I said the dude went to his house.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
So Joe Valentine
I,
Romero went to the dude's house, slit his
it,
throat, and stabbed him violently. It
it,
was like a
it wasn't by the
weird
post
one.
office. I think it was up by the little park.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
guy's he's committed, I think, in the state hospital now, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah, that was just one of those incidences of, oh, it happened kind of here in town. Like, oh, nobody's surprised. So it wasn't a big deal here in town itself. Like, it was a big deal because he did it, but not a big deal. Like, it was like, oh, kind of tracks.
Oh, it's like one of those. Ah, this guy was weird. He probably it tracks that he did this.
Yeah.
Supposedly, he was saying he was going to try to kill a friend, but didn't. He decided to back out of that and ended up going into that dude's house and killing him instead. The reason I was asking about that is because my friend Johnny from work, they were partying like the night before he did that out in the woods and stuff, and so they were all around a campfire. That dude was sitting alone, popped some mushrooms, and he was just like just zoned out into the fire, just acting weird. And they said they all kind of took off, and then that dude just disappeared. And then they found out he killed somebody. It's like, holy shit, man. We were just
They're
with
lucky
that
it
guy.
wasn't them.
Yeah, it's like, good Lord. It's like that guy, that was weird. It's like I was a freak. And he said it was just weird. Like he took something, he just started zoning out at the fire. And that's all he was doing, just staring at the fire, and he was alone. And it was one of those deals like, well, why did you guys even invite him? I don't know. Like, I don't know if he ever told me why. It was just
He
something
might
they were
not
all
have ever
hanging
been
out.
invited. He might have just been there,
He
you
might have
know?
just showed up. Yeah.
And
So
that's common for here. It's not, or you just know someone, even though they're weird, they're just, they're just accepted as they are.
yeah.
And then they snap and it's like, oh, yeah,
Yeah, that checks out.
yeah, yeah, no, seriously.
There hasn't been murders at all since then, has there?
Since then, yeah, not, I don't know, because when it happens, it's just kind of like, oh, tracks. There was one up in Gardner, but I don't know that there's been one here in town.
Strange stuff going. I think it's north of San Luis Valley. Is it Crested Butte down there? That's kind of the weird town, or Crestone. I can't remember. I always forget, but there's a town up that way that's where that cult got kicked out of. I don't know if you remember that Joya's Love cult that they found their cult leader mummified in a sleeping bag.
I don't
Never heard
remember
of
that.
that.
Yeah. So
What?
look it up. Joy Reigns or Joy Has Won was the name of the cult. Joy Has Won is the name of the cult when she was running it, when Joy was running it. But she died. They kicked him out of Hawaii. That was interesting because she was claiming she was Mother Gaia, and we met Father God. That was interesting. So we went to Zapata Falls to camp,
Uh-huh.
and we met Father God. We met the cult leader. We actually got to meet him. That was strange as hell. So it was kind of crazy. Me and my buddy Nathaniel, we went camping at Zapata 3 days prior to the rest of our friends showing up there, and the camp host, what was his name? Bob was his name. He was from Texas. He was kind of a cool dude. But we were camping next to the camp host. He comes up to us one day and he saw we had guns on, and he was saying, "Hey man, just keep those guns near you. There's a mountain lion out here. Just thanks." It's a cool, right on. He comes back up to us. We thought, okay, he's talking. He's going to talk to us about the mountain lion. No, he's like, "Hey, do you guys have chargers and batteries? This group up top on the campground, they need some charger cables for their cameras." And we're like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I think we have some. We have USB-C. It's cool. We'll give it to him. So this woman comes down. Her name was Luna. Luna was her name. She was Chinese. So she comes down and talks to us. And the whole time she's talking about, oh, yeah, I'm here with Father. And you'll meet Father. And Father's really nice and this and that. And she's talking about how looking up at the sky and looking at the clouds. Look, those are white heads or white clouds or something like that. White ships is what she called them specifically. So she was claiming that, yeah, that's where the aliens are, and there's white ships up there.
Oh,
I was like, okay, that's cool, interesting. And it's like, are you guys going up to the lake? I was like, yeah, we're gonna head up there in the next few days. It's like, yeah, I had to go up there. Father made me go up there and stay up there for a week to reflect. And I was like, what the fuck? It's like this little Chinese man's making his daughter go up to the lake. What the hell? So we start looking at each other. It's like, that's weird. So we're expecting to meet like a little Chinese man, like Father. No, we meet this white dude who looks like Charles Manson reincarnate. Guy has long hair, kind of a goatee, and we met Father God. Look up Joy Reigns, and you'll find this dude. His name's he calls himself now he's calling himself like Mother and Father God. That dude was weird, but we met him up there at Zapata, and like this woman was all talking about, oh yeah, you're gonna meet Father and this and that, and that guy was strange. But we
Hmm.
met that dude up there at Zapata, and we didn't find out until like a week after we came back from the camping trip. My buddy Nathaniel texted me, he's like, "Oh my God, we just ran into a freaking cult, man." I was like, "Oh, you mean we could have taken it? We could have took out Charles Manson incarnate, like reincarnate, before he started up a new thing." So these people end up having an HBO special.
Really?
It's called, I think it's Love Is One was the HBO
Love is one.
special.
I'll have to
Yeah.
look that up.
But we met Father God up there. That was kind of weird. He's still around. He's still doing stuff. Luna's still around too. She's apparently getting recruits from China because
Mm.
she does her podcast in Chinese, and she's recruiting people for their
And they're
church.
still around where?
I don't know now. Last time I saw, they were in Florida. They left
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm sure
Colorado.
they move quite a bit.
Well, so they got kicked out of Hawaii when Joy Reigns was still when the woman was still alive. Oahu didn't want anything to do with them. They kicked them out of the fucking island, like completely off. They came back to California and they think she died there. And they transported her body in a sleeping bag from California to Colorado. And where they transported her or stayed was in, I want to say it was Crestone, is where it's at. And that town's kind of freaky as it is. I mean, those people allow anything, like a lot of stuff as far as like burials are concerned. They'll allow you up there to be burned at a pyre, like on a pyre.
Nice.
That's one of the things they'll let you do, you know. They're real relaxed on religion and rituals and stuff. And it's kind of a cool little area, but those people even kicked them out. So that's kind of weird.
Give you a
And
little bit of.
the house that they found the woman in, the whole reason that they found her there was because the guy who was their treasurer in charge of their money had his kids in that house and they were refusing to let the kids leave. And he called the cops and said, "Hey, they have a dead body in there and they're refusing to let my kids out. I just want my kids out of there." And the cops went in there and sure as shit, they found a mummified body of their cult leader or one of them.
Hmm.
The only thing the
It's
dude got
crazy.
charged with was, I think, like improper disposal of
Of human
of
remains.
human remains, and then I think they tried to get him for the only thing they could get him for was like but I don't think they can prove it was moving human remains across state lines.
I just thought of something, Gerald. What do you know about that guy that was hoarding corpses
Oh
downtown?
shoot, downtown nothing. That was weird though.
Do you
I
know
don't know
about that,
anything
Andrea?
personally about that, but
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that was wild. I don't know what the hell's going on
the
with this
coroner.
stuff. Yeah, our coroner
Yeah,
and his
I saw
brother.
that at the beginning. That just is. It's such a weird thing to do. There's got to be some sort of something going on in their
That's what
heads
we were talking about. It's like, what
because
the
it's
hell are
just
they doing? Like, were they getting
it's
paid
the
off by
worst.
somebody?
Uh, well, they're like you get money from it, but how much does it actually cost to cremate? How much money are you actually earning by not cremating someone's body? It's
Yeah,
the and then you have a dead body sloughing away in the corner and smelling to high heaven. Like there's something not right there.
yeah, that was strange. And I used to work right next to that place because I used to work at Hercules Liquor. I have to go talk to Chris and Mike and ask them what they think about
Hmm.
it.
About the
You
smell
should.
because it had
That
they said
too.
it smelled horrible.
Well, shit, even when I used to work there, like we used to work and we used to go outside and you could smell something here and there, but it never smelled like death. It honestly smelled like cooking, which is, it's kind of gross, but it's the
Well,
crematorium
then
going
you
off.
right,
So like,
right.
because you're
It's
standing out
burnt
there, you
flesh.
see
You're barbecuing.
you're
Yeah,
seeing the smoke going out. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's what's smelling like food. That's kind of
right.
weird.
No,
I've
it makes
always
sense.
I've heard that too. Like, when people burn, they smell kind of like barbecue, like
Yeah,
sweet meat.
my friend Dominic got burned, and he said it smelled like barbecue.
Hmm. Where
He
did he
said it
burn
smelled.
himself?
He was at work, and I think it was hot asphalt got on him,
Oh shit,
Oh.
yeah.
and
Ooh.
he told me he said it smelled like barbecue. It was so weird. So
Yeah.
yeah, I do have other stories. We've had a mimicker. Heather and I have had experiences with the
Oh,
You
mimicker,
should
and
you
like,
should
interesting.
all I'd like to have
but
you
I'll
back
hold off
if you
on
wouldn't
that
mind.
because yeah, I've got to go. But
Okay.
there are some other. I mean, growing up, I just grew up with it all, and so
The
I don't think
oh
of it
man.
automatically. There's just things that I think of. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe that was different. Oh yeah, maybe that isn't common.
So one last question before you leave. Was MacReady the thing?
The
'Cause
old one or
that's
the
one
new
of her
one?
favorite movies too, so I had to
Nice.
ask
In the end, or
in the end. Or was he all along?
and I did spend a lot of time pondering this, unfortunately, in my own. I think it spread in him. I do.
Yeah.
I think, that them going there woke it up, and its whole intention was to survive.
Even if it meant killing the other things.
Yep. The survival of the fittest in the end, the ultimate game of survival of the fittest. And now that's how the thing survived, and it is going to continue to survive.
Yep. I believe the same thing. So just had to ask you real quick. If you would be so kind to come back, and I'd like to get some more stories, or maybe
Sure.
do a little bit something different during Halloween. So that'd be nice. But thank you
Yeah,
very
let
much
me
for
know.
coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. It's kind of fun to think about all the stuff I hadn't thought about in a while.
Yeah, and if you want to take me and Gerald up that road, us three could go, or
Yeah, that'd
whoever
be kind of
wants to
cool.
go. That'd be. I've
I'd
been
like to
wanting
check
to
that
do
out.
that also.
Okay, yeah,
On
we
Bear
can go
Creek,
check
that
that
road.
out. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
okay, cool.
Cool.
All right, nice meeting you, Gerald. I'll talk to you
Nice to meet
soon,
you
Adam.
too.
All right. So thank you everybody for watching Villains and Creeps. Salute everybody.
See ya.